Tell me, darling, could we run away? We could hide away by the cactus desert blue. I can see it just a mile away from this crowded place. I could lay there next to you.
Hey friends, welcome back to our channel, Best Freaking Friends Forever. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. And if you guys haven't subscribed, please do so below. Check us out. Leave a comment for us. Today we're going to be talking about The Outsiders. So we are going to ask a question. It's a would you rather question and then you guys can type in the comments your answers. So our question for you guys is, would you rather go into the past and meet your ancestors or go into the future to meet your great-great-grandchildren? So leave us a comment with your answers. What would you rather do?
I don't know. That's a hard one. That's a really, because it would be so cool to see, like, I don't know. I think there's issues with knowing your future. That's my first thing. I think there's problems with knowing your future. Now, if you know your past, you can learn from things. So I guess my ancestors.
That's what I think too. I think it'd be cool to go back and see like where we originated from, or you know what I mean, and really find out where I came from. Like I think that's kind of cool. I would rather meet my ancestors. So yeah, guys, leave us a comment. Tell us what you guys would do, what you would rather do. So back to The Outsiders. The box office stats. The release date was the 25th of March of 1983. Its budget was $10 million. Opening weekend, it made $5 million, and with inflation, that would be $13 million today. And in the U.S. and worldwide, it grossed $26 million, which is $69 million with inflation today. So it did fairly decently. And I mean, I feel like this was the first movie where, you know, it's unlikely that there's any other single motion picture in American film history that featured and introduced more young actors. I mean, think about all the young people that were in this and now have huge careers. I mean, you had Patrick Swayze, you had Matt Dillon, you had Ralph Macchio, Rob Lowe, Diane Lane, Tom Cruise, Emilio Estevez. Like, all of them have come on to be huge names. And really, this was really their first breakout role. And Leif Garrett was in it. Mm-hmm. But he was already pretty popular at the time anyway, just because of his singing. But yeah, he was a Soch, I do believe.
Yes. Yeah, he was Cherry's boyfriend, right? Cherry's boyfriend. Yeah, because like a lot of people were disappointed that he was killed off so early in the movie, but that was what was written in the book. I
feel like the author, S.E. Hinton, was it says that she was a part of every aspect of filming. And it sounds like she really got to because she was pretty much a mother figure because she was around the kids so much. And I mean, really, the oldest one was Patrick. I think he was 29 or 30 during filming. Ralph Macchio, I think, was the second oldest at 21. I think Matt Dillon was 18 and everybody else was younger than that. Like, I think, C. Thomas Howell, who played Pony Boy, I think was 15 at the time. So, I mean, they were young kids and they were over there. I mean, I don't think any of them really had or their parents with them, or a whole lot of them. So they were.
Well, yeah, but the director or whatever, what was his name? Coppola?
Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, I don't know, he sounded like a butthole sometimes because, like, he wanted the guy that played Dallas, Matt Dillon, to
spend a night in jail.
Yeah, he's like, why don't you spend a night in jail?
That's so a Matt Dillon thing to do, I think. I think he was probably a pretty big punk back in the day.
Matt Dillon, out of all the acting in this, I think Matt Dillon did the best.
Oh, yeah.
As playing Dallas. Dallas was like I think that was a hard character, and what Coppola actually found him right away and was like, this is who I want, and he didn't think he got the job. So there's the Soches and then there's the Greasers, and you basically have like kind of the rich crowd versus the poor crowd kind of thing. So the Soches are just always hassling the Greasers. They just won't leave them alone. Like that, they're the ones that I think, don't you, that they're always instigating it?
Oh, yeah, because they think that the Greasers are trash. Mm-hmm. And they keep trying to basically say that they are.
Well, it's like it's their punching bag.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can see that in the first scene in the theater, like the movie theater. I mean, yeah, we see Dallas being a complete jerk to Cherry, but only because, I don't know, I think, like you said, they do instigate a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And when we see Johnny and Ponyboy get attacked at the fountain, that's them well, they started it by talking to Cherry, I think, and the Socias weren't happy with them talking to Cherry because Ponyboy and Cherry talked a lot, I think, after that. And I don't think the Socias liked that very much. So I think that was kind of what caused the whole fountains issue or scene.
Right. But it wasn't because Ponyboy and Johnny, it wasn't like a malicious thing. It was like we found a friend in her and we want to, be that with her. And which she bothers me because she said, well, don't be upset if I don't smile, or if I smile or don't smile at you at school or whatever. Like that irritated me because it's like, just be who you are. The greasers are, they are who they are, and they may not like it all the time, but I feel like they, for the most part, embrace it.
Well, I don't think she wanted the fallout from that. I think is what she was trying to save herself from. Because I think she would have caught quite a bit of backlash had she, you know what I mean, if she did that and did associate with them at school. And I love Soda Pop. Can I just say that? I love his character. I feel like even when Daryl is mad at Ponyboy, he kind of gets him off his back and stuff like that, and he takes up for him. And when they're in the hospital, he gives him a huge hug, and he's first to see him. And I just love that. I think Rob Lowe did a really good job in that role too.
And he has such a cute smile. Rob Lowe does.
He's another one. If I could age like that, I'd be happy.
Ponyboy gets into it with Daryl. Daryl kind of pushes him, and it upsets him, and he runs off and gets Johnny, and they start kind of walking around and stuff. And then the Socias find him, and like you said, was in the fountain trying to drown Ponyboy. Well, of course, Johnny's gonna, help his friend, and he pulls a knife out of his pocket. We don't see the altercation, but whenever Ponyboy wakes up, we see two bodies on the ground. One is dead, one is Ponyboy.
But yeah, he does. He kills him, and he's sitting there holding the knife,
panicking. And he, says like they were gonna kill you.
He's like, I had to,
yeah.
And they would have. Well, and then they were gonna, after they probably killed him, they were probably gonna beat the crap out of Johnny. I would, if I had to guess. I mean, that was gonna be because they went after him too.
Oh yeah, they kicked him for a while until they went over and watched at the fountain while they were distracted. That's when Johnny got him. But so they ran to Dallas to get help. They didn't know what to do. Dallas had been in jail before, so he could kind of help them figure out what to do next. And he tells them to get on a train and head to another town, and they find a church to stay in.
Yep.
But Ponyboy is known for writing and reading. Like he's smarter. It's kind of his thing. And so they get Gone with the Wind, and they read that while they're hiding out from the cops because they don't know what's going to happen. And then Dallas comes along and finds them, takes them out to eat. Then Johnny's like, I'm just going to turn myself in if Cherry's going to speak up for me. He's like, I'm going to turn myself in.
And of course, Dallas doesn't like that. He doesn't think he should.
No, well, because he says you don't know what it does to you. That was why he didn't want him to go to prison because he was still young. But Dallas and Ponyboy and Johnny, you can tell they're really close. The three of them, they're really, really close. But they go back to the church where they were hiding out at, and it was on fire. And there was all
kinds of kids, and of course, Johnny. I don't know. No, it was Ponyboy that went first, wasn't it? And just ran in, and Dallas was like. And then Johnny went next, and I'm thinking, I mean, I think it's cool. That's where it gets sad, because I feel like Johnny risks his life, Ponyboy risks his, Dallas eventually risks his too. I mean, they all go in for these kids.
Well, yeah, and in the beginning of the movie, Dallas says, I hate kids.
Yeah.
Kids off, and then there he is, going in. Well, he mostly went in there to save Johnny and Ponyboy. It wasn't really the kids he was after. Right. It was his friends.
Yeah. And he told him, he's like, if you ever do anything that stupid again, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Well, which is kind of foreshadowing what's going to happen, to Johnny in the end, unfortunately. And, well, not himself, but yeah.
Well, Johnny just has really bad burns.
Really and I think he's hurt his back, too. I think when
they said that
he wouldn't walk again. So I feel like between the burns and that.
Well, and of course, Ponyboy gets off. I think Ponyboy and Johnny get off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they go to court over it. Of course, Johnny can't come because he's in the hospital. And yeah, it's just sad. It's a sad movie because Johnny does die at the end.
Well, and that kind of sets Dallas off. Like, Dallas loses it after losing Johnny. And that's kind of the first emotional stuff that we see from him, really, because he's all the tough guy and he's not going to. But he does. He loses it after Johnny dies. And he goes and he robs a store. Mm-hmm. And then he
got shot by.
Yeah, the unloaded. He got shot by them, or the store owner. And then he runs into the police. And I guess he holds up the unloaded gun.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene when they're saying, he's just a kid, don't shoot. And they do, of course, and we see it. And I guess the whole line where he says, you'll never take me alive, that was totally ad-libbed by Matt Dillon.
Well, it makes you wonder, too, had that been a Soch, would they have shot like that?
Yeah. And maybe that's what the question that they wanted raised was, or wanted people to think about, is if it was, would they have?
Yeah. Well, and Patrick Swayze just... like the passion he had in that moment where he was mad at those cops for doing that, because then they just had to stand there. They didn't know what to do. They just stood there. And Emilio, his character, which was 2-Bit, he was like this. Did you see him in the scene? He was like holding his hands up like, don't shoot, and because they didn't know what they wanted to comfort him, but they probably would have got shot too trying to comfort him. Yeah, I mean, there's 3 deaths total in this movie, and this is in, I think the timeline for this is 1965, I believe, when Johnny says, "Say golden, pony boy," and it's because he writes Pony Boy a letter. I know
that was the sad part too. At the very end, when he's reading the letter that is in Gone with the Wind, that book, he put it in the book because they read it to him while he was in the hospital.
Yeah.
2-Bit goes and gets a copy of it.
Yeah. Well, and then because when he wrote that letter, he thought Dallas, or he knew Dallas was still alive when he wrote that letter, because Dallas died after Johnny did. And so he was like, tell Dallas this and this and this. I can't remember what all he said. To look at the sunset or the sunrise.
See, I'd never seen The Outsiders, not fully, and I didn't read the book. Like, I didn't have to read that in high school.
I read it in 7th grade.
Well, I'm trying to think. I know my sister had to read it, and she loved it. She actually liked that book.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, for some reason, I don't have like the best reading comprehension. I do now that I'm older. Like, I can focus better and do better with reading. I just remember in school, and plus it was an audiobook that we did in class, so that made it harder because I'm the type of person, like, I have to see. Like, I'm such a visual learner, so I have to see it. So it was hard because when you're, like, she had us read the book plus hear it. In fact, the film is based on a book that is very popular among junior high and high school students, which we know. A school class in Fresno, California was responsible for Francis Ford Coppola making this movie. I guess the class voted Coppola as the director they would most like to see direct a film of the book. The school sent a letter and a copy of the book to Coppola. Coppola read the book and the letter and was so moved he made this movie and Rumblefish, which I've never heard of Rumblefish. Coppola threw out Kathleen Rao's script and wrote his own and filmed the new screenplay. However, due to a decision by the Writers Guild, Coppola was unable to secure credit for himself for this movie. Or for the script, I guess, or the screenplay. Well, so that's interesting how that was all, like, this movie came to be. Mm-hmm. And the girl that wrote this, which is super, super cool, I think she started the book when she was 15 and finished it when she was 16.
It is impressive for someone to sit down and come up with a book like that. Like, I'm lucky to get it. Like, I'm wanting to write children's books, and I'm lucky to get, like, when the mood strikes, all right. But, man, to come up with all, like, I don't know. I'm not good at character arcing, and I'm not good at giving the characters good arcs and stuff like that and keep them progressing. I've just got to work on that. But, yeah, it's pretty, impressive.
We're a genius mind, because, like, to write a book, because there's a lot of younger authors, but this is a book that, like we keep saying, is in the classroom. Like, for it to be a teaching tool for children, and she was a child herself. The Outsiders, originally a book and turned into a movie. We did this because we are doing Brat Pack movies. Mm-hmm. And this is, my husband says no, that it's not part, but if you Google it, it is. It's part of the Brat Pack. A lot of these characters are in other Brat Pack movies. I think that's why it's considered a Brat Pack. So let us know, do you like The Outsiders? Do you like Brat Pack movies? We're going to be doing a few of them here in the near future. So if there's one that you would like us to do, that you really, maybe if it's an underrated one or something, let us know. We're going to do like the bigger ones. But if there's one you want us to do, please let us know, and we'll be more than happy to do that, because we're trying to broaden our movie repertoire, I guess you could say. But let us know, definitely. We thank you for watching and joining and talking, and we really appreciate it. Feel free to share us with all your friends and family, and let them join in on the conversation too. You never know, they might be watching these movies and you had no idea. But until next time, I am Tiffany. This is my BFFF Shelly. Join us next time, friends, for another great episode.